These are 2 bags of onions that I got at the well on Sunday. I'm going to keep 1 bag, and 1 bag is going to go to our friend. Over here are 4 cases of apples. I'm going to keep 2. We're going to give our friend 2. Let's take a look at the apples. They look really nice. And then in this box, I have some zucchini. And I'm going to keep half, and we're going to give half to our friend. All of this from the well on Sunday. Hello everybody, this is Deanna with Food Bank Beautiful, and don't judge me today. I was out in the garden and I ripped up all of my annuals, and I gathered up most of my green tomatoes. I have 1 more tomato plant out there then I need to get to tomorrow, and then of course the cherry tomatoes, but I just didn't have time to finish that up today. So what I'm doing today is, if you follow my channel regularly, you know I had company, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin. And one of the things that my aunt did was she made this taco pizza pastry. She made 2 of them, and we ate them, and we absolutely loved them. But I am going to repurpose this tonight for dinner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make taco salads for my husband and I. Now, she is so lovely. She brought everything to make dinner one night while she was here. And so I have shredded lettuce, guacamole, tomatoes, and this. And I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do. I am going to go ahead. Let me see if I can bring you right down here. I have 2 bowls with lettuce here, and I'm going to use some of this iceberg lettuce here. Yeah, that still looks pretty good. So we'll use that. And then I think my husband will like just a little bit more lettuce. There we go. And I am good right there. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Now, the second thing we're going to do is I am going to take this, and I'm going to take the taco meat out. There is quite a bit of taco meat in here, and I'm just going to scrape that out and heat it up. And then my chickens tomorrow can have the leftover pastry part of the thing that she made. Now, this was so delicious. I can't even tell you how good it was. I wish I would have done a video of you seeing how she made it, because it was so good. My husband and I absolutely loved it. Grandma loved it. It was really, really good. But I just want to get that hamburger meat out. Now I have hamburger. I could make my own taco meat for this meal, but why not just go ahead and repurpose this little bit of leftover taco meat right here. Okay, it's a little bit messy, but it's not the end of the world. It's going to be so good. I don't want the bread necessarily, but if a little bit of bread gets in the taco salad, that is not the end of the world. All that bread is going to go to my chickens. Okay, that looks like it's enough. I'm going to let the chickens have the rest of this. Might be able to get that off. Let's see. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. Okay, now I'm going to stick this in the microwave for about 1:30, and we're going to get that heated up to go on top of our taco salads. All right, I had a little bit of guacamole, so I put that on Grandma's bowl. Here's the meat, so I'm just going to sprinkle some meat on our taco salads. And I'm going to put some ranch dressing on the top. And just like that, using leftovers, we have made dinner tonight. So this is my husband's bowl. You can see how lovely that looks. This is Grandma's bowl. She got the remaining guacamole. And this is my bowl. Looks good, right? Okay, and then tomorrow my chickens will feast on the rest of that. It's a win-win for everybody. Good morning, everybody. This is Deanna with Food Bank Beautiful. Thank you for showing up for the show today. It is October the 8th, which is a Tuesday, and it is about 11 o'clock. So I have already gotten started this morning with the fabulous help of my honey bunny, who peeled and cut a bunch of apples for me. So this is where we're at this morning. Over here in this big pan right there, I have all of my quart jars and pint jars in hot water. Over here I have apples that have come to a boil and are now simmering on a lower heat for 5 minutes. After that, I'm going to bring them over here and we're going to can them up. And I'm just going to work through them today until I'm pooped. So here's my next batch of apples to slice and get on the stove. And we're just going to get that done. I also have some zucchini that I really need to shred and get in the freezer today. My bag of onions I don't need to worry about right this minute, so that's good. And I also kind of want to make some green tomato salsa. But this girl, she may not be able to do all of that today, and that's okay. We're just going to work until we feel like we're tired, and then we're going to be done. So you guys have seen me make apple pie filling before. I'm using my, this cookbook, which I absolutely love, the all-new Ball Book of Canning, and this is on page 128, and it's just this, you know, gives you samples of different kinds of common pie filling, and you can just make them however you want to make them. So that's what we're going to do. I'm pretty excited about it. I like to make it both in quart size and pint size jars. Now it doesn't give me a water bath time for the pint size jars, so I'm just going to do everything at 30 minutes. It'll be okay. The pint size is nice because I like to pull them out and put them on top of Grandma's oatmeal. In a pint size jar will go 4 or 5 servings of oatmeal, and that's usually good enough. So that's what we're going to do today. I might show you 1 jar here, maybe 2, and then in the end, when I'm all done, I'll show you all the jars that I made for today. Let's have some fun, people. Let's have some fun. All right, I'll get back to you. Okay, we are ready to jar up our apple pie filling. Right here, I have the hot apples that have simmered for 5 minutes. Down below, you will see I'm all set up. I have 2 pint-sized jars and 2 quart-sized jars, lemon, cinnamon, nutmeg, this handy little tool, and my, whoa! Are we canning my measuring spoons? I don't think so. And then I do need my apple cider vinegar, so let me grab that. Okay, now here we go. I don't know where my 1 cup measuring cup is, so we're just going to have to use the half, and it'll just have to be all right. Let's get it done. I got a lot of these to do today. I might only get 2 out of my Dutch oven of raw apples, so we'll see. I do want to push those down quite a bit because when I go to make this pie, I want a lot of apples in here. And we'll just kind of push that down. Let's add another half cup. See what that does. I'm just looking to see 1/2 inch headspace. Yep, that's what it says, a 1/2 inch. Okay, there's the first jar. And I'm just going to go around and get the air bubbles out. That looks good to me. And we're going to add our necessary lemon juice. It is 2 tablespoons of lemon juice per jar. There's 1. And there is 2. And then we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Right there. And a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And just like that, we have a quart of apple pie filling. Okay, so that looks just about perfect. I think next time I'll put the spices and the lemon juice on the bottom of the jar, or at least the spices. Okay, now let's see where we're at space-wise. We are perfect at a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to take one of my paper towel squares, dip it in apple cider vinegar, and I'm going to pinch around the edge of my jar because this is a sugar syrup here, and I've got spices that I added. I just want to make sure that this is perfectly smooth. That looks good. Here are the lids and rings that I boiled earlier. And there is the can, fingertip tight. I'm just going to move it to the back. And let's go ahead and do another quart size. This one I'm going to show you that I'm going to do it this way. 2 tablespoons of lemon on the bottom. 1, 2, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, right about there, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, right there, and now let's go ahead and fill our jar. I kind of want this closer over here. Can you guys see? I'll bring you right there. Okay. And these were all apples that I got at the well, where you go and you make a donation. And you can come away with big amounts of produce. This week it was onions and apples. There were some zucchini. They also had a lot of bakery goods like cakes, muffins, pies, pastries, all that kind of stuff. I never want that stuff, so I just go for the produce. That's what I'm interested in. All right, so it looks like the amount that I can make when I fill this with raw apples is 2 quarts. So that's good to know. All right. Oops, what am I doing? I need this right here. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see if I can squish that in there. Going to pop a lid on that. That'll be okay until I get to it. All right, how hot is this? That's pretty hot. Okay. Whoa, that is a little bit much. We'll take care of that. Take out 1 more tablespoon. Okay, that can go right there. Let's get the air bubbles out. And I'm going to add a little bit more liquid to this. Probably what's left in my probably right there. Let's take a look. Yep. That is perfect. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to clean off that rim. And going to get that nice and spotless. A lid and a rim. And we now have 2 quarts of apple pie filling. So I am going to put these in my canner over there. It's got to come to a boil, and then it's got to boil for 30 minutes. While that's boiling, I'll go ahead and get another pot of apples all sliced and ready to go, and we'll do the whole thing again. It's going to be a treat. Hello everybody, it is Wednesday, October the 9th, and this is Deanna. I'm in my own kitchen, minding my own business. And I'm going to can some things today. the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to can some balsamic vinegar cherry tomatoes. Now, I do not have a recipe in front of me. I cobbled a couple of recipes together, and my comfort level is okay with this. Now, I will not be providing you a recipe because I don't have a USDA approved recipe, and I want to make sure that you guys do your own research and feel safe with what you're doing in your own kitchen. Now, the first thing that I did is I read through the holy grail of canning, right? You guys all have this in your kitchen. And I'm following the canning instructions for tomatoes, which means that I am going to raw pack, that is my cherry tomatoes straight out of the garden, into a hot jar. I'm going to fill it up to a half inch of head space, and I'm going to add a tablespoon of lemon and a quarter teaspoon. Is it a quarter teaspoon? Yes, a quarter teaspoon of salt per pint. Now, so far, that is awesome, ball approved. However, I will also be adding 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar. And I Googled whether or not I could add balsamic vinegar to my tomatoes, and it said that I could, and I'm going to. I did see other recipes with balsamic vinegar, but they have caramelized onions and garlic and all kinds of stuff in there that I do not want. So we're just going to go ahead and do this Deanna style. This is for entertainment purposes only. Say it. Entertainment purposes only. You have to decide what you feel comfortable and safe with in your own kitchen, and so do I. And I believe that this recipe is safe, so I'm going to go ahead and can it. I'm not at all worried about it, but that's what we're going to do. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to pull out my jars and get them set up. And then I'm going to add everything that goes in. Then I'm going to add the tomatoes. We'll fill with water and we'll seal and we'll get it in the water bath canner. Is that on? Yes, it is. All right, I'll be back. Okay, I am not sure if the camera caught that or not. So to each jar, I added 1 tablespoon of lemon, 2 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar, and a quarter teaspoon of salt. Now I'm going to fill my jars with the cherry tomatoes. These have all been washed. I screened out any that had split skins, though they may split a little bit in the canning process. We're okay with that. We're going to eat this on bread, toast, whatever we feel like. Okay. All right, I don't want to overfill because I only have barely enough. So here's my jars. Let me see if I can get those right there. I'm going to move my cherries over here, and I'm going to go get my hot water. Okay, that didn't take too long. All right, so I'm going to put hot water in my jars right here. And I have a big Dutch oven right here full of hot water. I can probably do it without the funnel. Okay, and we are going to check the, see if that we're at the right headspace. We're also going to debubble. Do you guys love this tool? Do you all have at least 10 of them in your canning drawer? All right, let's look down here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm very gently going to go around my tomatoes and get out any excess water or air bubbles. Okay, now let's see where we're at as far as a half a cup or a half a cup. Half an inch of head space. Okay, that's good. That's good. And that's good. Okay, right here I have rings and lids that I have had soaking in boiling water. Whoops. And we're going to clean the edges and make sure that there shouldn't be anything too scary on this, but that's what we're going to do. And there's one. You see how easy this is, right? Nothing to be afraid of. Again, with the disclaimer that I did not have an actual recipe. I cobbled 2 or 3 recipes together and felt like all of my ingredients were safe enough to do it this way. Of course, we're going to follow all of the canning recommendations for processing time, for filling the jars, for fingertip tight. We're going to do it all. We're not throwing caution 100% to the wind, people. You don't ever, ever, ever do that when you're canning. Okay? However, it is your kitchen. It is not for me or anybody else to tell you what you can do in your own kitchen. I strongly recommend that you follow the recipes that have already been tested and are safe, but sometimes you can make tiny adjustments, but you have to know that you bear the risk for that, okay? All that risk then transfers to you when you play with an approved recipe, okay? I'm feeling pretty good about those. Aren't those gorgeous? All right, I'm going to put these 3 in the canner. I'm going to do the other 3, and then I will show you these when they come out. A little bit of summer in a jar. Okay, there are my last 3 pints getting ready to go into the canner. We will process those for 40 minutes once they come to a rolling boil. A rolling boil. A big, angry, rolling boil. There you go. All right, I'll see you when we're done. I don't know what you guys do, but I am not very good at judging 1 inch of water above my can lids. So I've been using this lately to see that I have at least 1 inch of headspace on top of those sealed jars. And this is a game changer for that. All right, I am going to clean my kitchen. You guys want to take a look so you can feel really good about yourselves? Oh, Lordy. It is a hot mess, as is a good portion of my counter space. All right, I'm going to clean that up. I got 40 minutes to do it, 40 plus. All right, my kitchen is relatively clean now. You can see it pretty good. My workspace down here is all cleaned up. I have decided I'm going to go ahead and chop my green tomatoes. I have to run to the store. I think I need jalapenos and maybe a couple of red onions. But I want to measure out what I have for my tomatoes. And I'm going to be using that Ball cookbook that we just looked at. And it doesn't have a page number, but salsa in 3 easy steps. And lo and behold, green tomato salsa verde. That's what we're going to do. All right, so it calls for 2 pounds, should give me 3 pints. So I'm going to go ahead and start dicing my green tomatoes and weighing them out until I have 2 pounds. I'm going to try to get as many of these diced up as I can. I want to get rid of these. I want to make, I just want to use my green tomatoes for this. I have a ton of them. I love salsa verde, so that's what we're going to do. All right. I have chopped all of my green tomatoes, my onions, my jalapenos, and my cilantro. To that, I have added my garlic and my lime juice, and now it's just in that Blue Dutch oven coming to a boil, and then it will simmer, I think, for 5 minutes. Let me read it. Yep, bring it to a boil, and then reduce heat and simmer for 5 minutes, and then we jar it up. So in this big canner right here, I have my pints in hot water. And in a little pan back in the back, I have the lids getting all nice and hot. So while that's doing its thing, I'm going to go and get another 6 pounds of green tomatoes. So I think that I'll get 9 pints out of that, and I'm going to try to go get another batch of this done. I don't love, dicing those by hand, but it must be done. I do not want to waste my green tomatoes, so let me go get them. All right, it is 4:40 in the afternoon, and that stinking grandma, I think she ate a bunch of my footage again. So today we made 6 pints of balsamic cherry tomatoes, and those are just, I might have shown them to you before, but I don't remember. Those are gorgeous. And then I just finished canning the 14th jar of green tomato salsa verde. And so that is done. I have not even really put a dent in my green tomatoes. So I'm going to have to think about what else I need to do. Do you remember that zucchini I got at the well? I went ahead and grated that up and put it into 2-cup bags. So in the freezer, I have a bag full of 1-cup zucchinis, and then I have this bag of 2 cups of zucchinis, and I have 14 cups in this bag. So let me see if I can just bring it over there and you can kind of see all the cans. And that is it for today. I am pretty pooped. I've been on my feet all day. We'll see what I'm going to do tomorrow. I think I have enough to make another 14 pints of salsa verde and still have a bunch of green tomatoes left. So we'll see. We'll see what my energy level's like tomorrow. All right, we got a lot done today. I'll see you guys next time. Ta-ta. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday. I believe it is the 10th of October. Who knows? This is Deanna with Food Bank Beautiful, of course, continuing on with this video. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since maybe 6, had a cup of coffee, watched the sky turn colors this morning, and now I am getting ready to continue to tackle an enormous amount of green tomatoes. So I just wanted to show you what I'm going to do first this morning. I am going to can sliced green tomatoes for fried green tomatoes. yesterday. Now I can see that that has some icky on it, so I'm going to pull these out and wash them again. I just want a jar handy to make sure that my slices fit. Also, with the parts that don't fit in the jar, I'm just dicing up to make more green tomato salsa verde. And I'm going to process these just like I would any other type of tomato in a pint-size jar. I'm going to do a raw pack, which means my tomatoes are going in at room temperature. Pour hot water over the top, add a tablespoon of lemon, a half a teaspoon of salt, and water bath for, I believe, 15 minutes. Don't quote me on that. I don't have my cookbook in front of me, but I will definitely check it before I get that far. Of course, over on the stove is already the pot sterilizing my jars, my hot water, which has not been turned on. There we go. And in the back, my lids, which I didn't turn that on either. Okay, I am just going to get to it. I'll just show you. It's not difficult. So here's an empty jar. Let's come down here, right there. And I just want to make sure that my tomatoes are going to fit. Okay, so I like to cut off the end piece right here. And then I want about 1/2-inch slices. So about like that. Toss those into the jar. And then with the ends, I'm just going to go ahead and dice those up and put them in my salsa verde container. And I'll make more of that. I'll probably make 7 jars of these today, and depending on how many jars I can find, I will make another batch of salsa verde. I also have food bank this afternoon, so I can't be doing this all day, but I am going to get started because I don't want to waste my tomatoes. All right, let me get this done. I'll show you when we're done. Okay, I'm going to bring you down and just show you how I'm going to process these sliced tomatoes. Just going to do 2 cans for you. Let's pop down here. Here are my sliced tomatoes in the jars. And to each jar, I am going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I just checked my ball book to make sure that I had the right measurements. So a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, although I'm wondering if that one might be, that's probably okay. And 1 tablespoon of lemon per jar. Always going to use commercial lemon. Shake your jar before you measure it. There we go. To that, I'm going to add some very hot water. Can you guys see? Normally I'd be doing this over at my stove, but there we go. And we're looking for a 1/2-inch headspace. I don't think I can leave that slice in there. We'll put it in the next jar. Okay. Ooh, hot, 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 hot. Very hot. All right, we want a 1/2-inch of headspace. That's good, and that's good. And I just want to make sure that I've got any air bubbles out of there. Okay, we are going to, oh fuck. All right, you can hear the fan on behind me. Here are 2 of my jars. To each jar, I added a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, commercial lemon juice. And now I'm going to do what we always do. I've measured and checked the headspace, so I'm just going to use a clean tea towel. And I'm going to take care of the rims on these 2 jars. And then I'm going to seal them. Going to seal that. And these 2 are ready to go into the canner for 15 minutes. All right, I'll show you when I'm all done. All right, a big correction. I'm going to water bath these sliced tomatoes for 40 minutes. That's why you always go back and check your directions before you start. All right, 40 minutes. I have, I think, 9 pints, and I'm going to go ahead and process for 40 minutes. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, October 14th. My name is Deanna. Most of you know who I am. If you're new here, hello. This is Food Bank Beautiful, and I have just a couple things I'm going to do today. Nothing exciting. I think I'm only going to bring you along for one. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make a very simple casserole with predominantly food bank items. And we're going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to start a crock Instapot for broth. I only have 1 jar of broth in my pantry, and that is never good. Also, for those of you who watch me regularly, you know a few days ago, maybe a week ago, I made a bunch of minestrone soup. It was so good. It was so good, you guys. I think we're having it for leftovers tonight for supper, so I'll try to show you some. Holy cow, we ate it up. We ate it twice yesterday. That's how good it was. We ate it for lunch, all 3 of us, and then all 3 of us ate it for dinner. I am going to can some more of that. I think I need to soak some kidney beans tonight to make another 4 quarts. So the only canning that I think I'm going to do today, I've got apples to take care of. Well, we don't know. I'm going to start this broth. So it's just going to be, let me see if I can grab it out of the refrigerator. I deboned a chicken breast yesterday, and as you can see, I'm not very good. There's a lot of meat on there. I'm just going to throw it in with my vegetable bag from the freezer, which is celery, onions, and carrots. I'm going to get myself a nice rich broth, and then I will can that later tonight. I should go ahead and process apples and either make apple juice or can apple juice. Girls' work is never done. Not complaining. I'm very happy and thankful for everything that I have. I also need to cut this bad boy. I got this on Thursday. My husband said he'd cut it for me, and yet here it sits. That's all right. He does other things. He's lovely. All right, let me get my broth started, and then I will bring you back for a super easy, make it in a few minutes, bake it for an hour, hamburger casserole. I'll just bring you along because this is really nothing. In here, I have about 4 quarts worth of plain water. And I'm going to toss this in because this will not hurt anything. I think those are my only bones in the house, so we'll use that. And then here I have, looks like I have some sort of green. We're not going to worry about it. That should be just fine right there. And I'm going to add some dehydrated celery and carrot. Okay, I only have maybe 1/4 of a cup of dried carrot. I'm just going to add it to my broth because I really do want that flavor. And I pulled out my, is this celery? Yeah, this is celery. I don't want to overpower my broth with celery flavor, so I'm just going to throw a little bit in there and we should be good. And people, that is it. That's it. All right, that's it. So I will start this when I'm done putting my casserole together so we don't have to listen to this while I do that. Let me gather my ingredients, okay? We're going to make a simple casserole. Now, I have a cookbook called White Trash Cooking. The food in there is so good. This recipe did not come from that, but I feel like it's that same kind of recipe. It's just easy. It tastes so good. It's not pretentious. It's not fancy. And it's so good. Everybody in your family will eat it. All right? We'll eat it. I'm hungry. Let's get it done. Okay. We are going to make a hamburger and instant rice casserole that is so delicious. I first started making this when I was in college, so that's been, 40 years. And we really like it. I probably make it only twice a year because it does have some processed ingredients in it, which is okay. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not so crunchy that I don't eat processed foods. Yes, I do. All right, hold on one second. I forgot something. Okay, here are the ingredients. The first thing I'm going to need is a tiny bit of butter. I also am going to need some celery and some onions. Now, sometimes I do get real butter at the food bank, but this is my butter. I haven't gotten a cube of butter in a few weeks, so we're going to call this butter my butter, okay? This onion is from the well right here, and this celery is from the well. So you can consider that food bank. For those of you who don't know, the well is not a food bank. It is a church organization in my area that collects bulk, like cases of things, and you can go there once a week on the day that they have it, and you make a small donation and you can walk away with things. So the apples that I need to process, those are something that I got from there. I also have a big 50-pound bag of onions right over here that I need to chop and freeze, but that is just, that's a hard job. Okay, so celery and onion. We're just gonna go ahead and I can do that while we're talking, so let's do it. Over here I have a skillet on. Right over there. I'm just going to pop that little bit of butter in there, just like that. Then we're going to put in half a bag of my celery. And we're going to use the last of my onion after I break it up. Okay, that can do its job right here while I am dealing with showing you the ingredients. So we went over butter, celery, and onion. The next thing we're going to use is hamburger. This is a food bank hamburger. However, my little local grocery store had hamburger on sale for $3.74 a pound. And I bought some hamburger and I canned some hamburger, and this is what we're going to use. The reason that we're going to use this is a couple of my jars did not seal. Yeah. I think I'll put this one back in the refrigerator because I don't think I need 2 jars for this. The next thing that we have is instant rice. This is mine. And we have some la choy noodles. Now, I got this at the food bank some time ago. It's just been sitting on my shelf, ready for me to make this dish. And then 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup right here. And then we're going to use some milk. And the milk in this particular case is going to be Food Bank. Right here. Empty bowl. All right, let's get this done. This is not going to be difficult. Let's go ahead and come down here. There you go. And I need a 1 cup measuring cup. Whoops. And a can opener. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 cups of instant rice. 1 and 2. And to that, we are going to add 2 cans of cream of soup. Whatever kind of cream of soup you have, it does not matter. You don't have to have the exact cream of soup that a recipe calls for. You can use any kind of cream of soup you want. You can even make your own. And I have made my own plenty of times. But right now, I have this on my counter, and that's what we're going to use. I love the cans that open with that little pull tab. Okay, there's that. We're going to add in our jar of hamburger. Now, this will be a little bit interesting to get out because it's been in the refrigerator and it's cold. When it's room temperature, it just slides out really nicely for me. I could put it in the microwave. See if I can get it out without doing that. Come on. And this is, I just seasoned this with salt and pepper, nothing else. No onions, no vegetables, nothing is in here. Come on. There we go. Okay, I will not need the second can. That is plenty. We'll get these a little bit tender and we'll add those at the very end. And then we're going to add 2 cups of milk. 1 and 2. And I don't remember if I mentioned it, but we're also going to add about a tablespoon of soy sauce. There we go. And I don't want to add any salt to this because soy sauce is salty and I don't want my casserole to be overwhelmed. But I do like to judge it by the color. And I think I'll add a tiny bit more, not too much. Maybe just a little dribble more. That's it. That should be plenty. To this, I will add the onions and the celery. And I will add 1 cup of the dry noodles. The rest of the dry noodles go on the casserole about 10 minutes before it comes out of the oven. And they get all nice and crunchy and super, super yummy. Okay, let's add the noodles. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'll bring you back when we're going to add the onions and the celery. Okay, let's add the onions. Oh, thought that was one of these little straps, but I guess not. Okay, let's go ahead and look down here. We're going to go ahead and add my sauteed onions and celery. And that should be perfect. We're going to grab some Pam spray and we are going to spray this casserole dish just for easy cleanup. And let me mix those onions in. Come back over here. There you go. I'm going to add some pepper to that. Pepper is mine. And I think that is good enough. Okay, let's go ahead and fill the casserole dish. So easy. And you pretty much saw me do it in real time. That is as easy as it is. Okay. Okay, we're going to put the lid on. We're going to put it in the oven at 350 for 45 minutes, and then I will sprinkle the rest of these on the top and bake it for another 15 or so. All right, then we'll taste it because I'm starving. I'm so hungry I don't think I can do any work between the time that I make this and I eat this. Sad but true.